5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello and welcome to Truth, Beer, and Podsequences. So this is the podcast where my co-hosts and I listen to all the Cincinnati-based craft beer podcasts from the previous week. We get together at a podcast host, and we are at Higher Gravity Summit Park. Thank you to Higher Gravity Summit Park. And we give our version of the truth of how those podcasts went. Now, hopefully there aren't too many consequences from the hosts of the other podcasts. So far, so good.
We've had a good streak here.
We have. I am Marco. I'm a taproom manager here locally. And that voice you heard, it's time. We're going to introduce that voice you just heard. That voice you heard is the best co-host in Podcastlandia.
And introduce myself. I am Julia, and I am the best the best podcast co-host in Podcastlandia.
Yes, you are.
I swear to God, this is going to be a great show, guys.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be amazing. We are starting off so strong. So incredibly strong. I don't know my dates anymore. I don't know my words anymore. But anyway, I'm a drinker of all the craft beer here in the Cincinnati area, and I love to write parodies and funny stories and all that stuff
it's
about
coming.
beer.
It's coming up.
Yes, mostly for beer vent season. If you have not yet bought your Higher Gravity beer vent box, please do so immediately. They're going fast. Once they're sold out, they will not be making any more. They have kind of a teaser up here at Higher Gravity Summit Park, and I'm assuming the same visualization is down at Northside as well. That gives you a bit of a teaser on some of the breweries that are making a special beer for this box that you can only get in this box. So don't walk to your browser of choice and go to Higher Gravity Craft House, that's HAUS.com/store, and buy your beer vent box now.
What's in the box?
Beer. So much beer. So much amazing beer. Except for potentially the days when they try to pull a fast one on us. And then there may not be beer in one of the days. They've done it before. I know they'll do it again. I'm talking about the prank days that they throw in there. I love it. I love it so much.
That horrible, what was it, 2 years ago? The horrible Brewdog box?
Oh,
where they
yeah.
were giving out like a bandana.
I was lucky. So, yeah, I think that was...
They're the
that
worst.
must have been 2 years ago, because last year I ended up with 3 beer vent boxes from different places.
Yeah.
So Brewdog, I think, was a year or two before that, to where I think one day instead of beer you got like a pair of socks, and one day was like a bandana, and I'm going, put that in with the beer. If it's a box designed for a beer a day through December, give us beer every day.
Well,
and
Julia,
Higher
if they can
Gravity
scam
does
people
that.
out of their money and then open breweries all across the world, don't they know what they're doing?
They are such a bullshit company, and I do not give them my money as long as I can help it.
I don't either.
Mm-mm.
I don't either.
No, thank you. But that's a bigger topic for a different day.
It really is, actually.
It absolutely is. We are here to talk about this past week in Cincinnati Craft Beer Podcasts. So let's see. Did you listen to the same things that I did? We have the Cincy Brewcast.
Yes.
Awesome. We have Shift Beers.
Uh-huh.
And then this is one that I wasn't sure if it was going to fit into our rotation or not, so I listened. So if you didn't, that's cool. I have a recap of the Craft Parenting Podcast. It's fine. It's fine.
Sure.
You're a busy guy. It's fine. It's cool. Like I said,
I missed it.
So
but I have opinions and thoughts.
Okay.
Because
and I can't wait to hear
our notes match
our
each
notes
other.
match perfectly.
Notes.
So kind of with that being said, Our podcast, for anyone that's new listening to the show, first, thank you very, very much for checking us out. What we like to do is listen to all of the local Cincinnati-based podcasts that typically are about craft beer, but there are some shows that we listen to that are not about craft beer week in and week out. There are some like Beers and Beards, where sometimes they mention some Cincinnati breweries, some weeks they don't, so we only really mention them when they kind of fall into our wheelhouse. And this past week's episode of the Craft Parenting Podcast really towed that line for me, so I didn't pressure Marco to use up any more of his time to listen to it. It was a fun episode. Joe and Caroline had a kid-free night, so they packed up the podcasting equipment, and they went out to, you know what, we didn't say what we're drinking. I just ran right into this. So we'll do that after
Just go ahead.
Talk about this.
You are in it, Julia.
I told you I don't know what I'm doing today.
It's
just
terrible.
Go. I'm going. So Joe and Caroline were at Westside Brewing. They had a babysitter for the kids, and they went, let's do a podcast at a brewery, and they just talked about what they had done this past week, some stuff about what's bugging Caroline and kids' TV. And they talked about some old stories from the past. Like, you can learn how Caroline got all of those scars, which, I don't know, which she said may or may not be our truth, but they were certainly her truth. Very interesting. And they did talk about the beers that they were drinking at Westside. They got flights and pints of all the Bavarian beers that Westside has on tap since it is Oktoberfest season. But the discussion wasn't really going into the style. It was mostly, this is what we have. I like it. I don't like it. I don't like it as much as this. I wish I would have gotten the beer that you had versus what I had. They were all good, but there really isn't a ton for us to really recap, because we would just be repeating everything that they were saying as far as the beer aspect of this episode went. So that's the only reason that this is kind of a brief touch on it, but it is a great podcast. Well, I mean, I listen to the episodes about beer because I don't have kids. The parenting part and the crafting part, they just don't hit my wheelhouse. But definitely check out this episode if you want to know what Joe and Caroline do when they don't have any kids.
What about top 5 ways that Caroline got her scars?
Ooh, this is good.
From
okay.
somebody who didn't listen.
Oh. So do you want me to give you like an option, like 5 options, and you say if you think it's true or false? Like, how do you want to do this? Or are you just going to go on?
Well, we're gonna need the OLI outside looking in. So we need a 6.
Oh yes, that's true.
Okay.
That's true. Okay, so Marco, seeing as you did not listen to this episode, please tell me, how did Caroline get her scars? Number 6.
Number 6, outside looking in. It would be from learning to ride a bike.
That's pretty good. That's a good one. What about your number 5 way that Caroline got those scars?
Number 5, it would be from getting her knuckles wrapped in Catholic school, not knowing if she went to Catholic school or not.
I mean, she's a West Sider, so that should tell you all you need to know about that one. Yeah. All right.
Probably got paddle,
4.
too.
Yeah, all the things.
Yeah.
All the things.
All right, so we got knuckles.
I love how you're writing these down after the fact.
We got bike. We got knuckles.
Bike riding, knuckles. What is your number 4?
Number 4 is lawn darts.
Ooh, man, why didn't those take off more than they did?
They were amazing. I don't know.
They were fantastic.
Hashtag bring back long darts.
Like the actual lawn darts, the ones with the big metal spike.
Yeah, the
at the
giant
end of them.
spike at the end.
Not like the new Nerf branded ones that they have now. That's
bullshit
win.
out of
No.
here.
Yeah. All right. What is your number 3? Your third way of how Caroline got her scars. Take all the time you need.
Let's see.
Not like we're recording or anything. It's fine. Furiously scribbling down on his note.
All right, so number 3 is falling down the stairs.
Oh, all right. Okay. How about number 2? What is your top second? That didn't sound right, but again, I don't know what I'm doing today, so we'll run with it. Way that Caroline got her scars.
Number 2 is running into the guy at the haunted house with the
chainsaw without
chainsaw without the chain.
Ooh, I like that one. I bet that it was at the Dent Schoolhouse.
Probably
was. All right. And Marco's number 1 reason, or not really reason, but number 1 explanation for how Caroline got those scars is... I don't have a drum roll, but I took that off to put the wheel on there. So.
Oh, you took the drum roll off
I took
to
the
put the
drum
wheel
roll.
off?
Even though we still have 2 free spots, because, again, I don't know.
Well, and then there's a whole bank of like 2 other pages,
Yeah.
isn't there? But then you have to flip the
But then
page.
I have to flip through, and that takes more concentration than what I have after work on a Tuesday.
So the number 1 way that Caroline got her scars is all of the German dancing, slipping and falling with the beer, in the Germanness.
Wow. That.
Oh. Oh.
Wow. That is actually a very good answer. I like it. I like it, and it fits into Oktoberfest and everything else that
Everything else we're going to talk about.
Everything else we're going to
tonight.
talk about. That is Craft Parenting Podcast. Definitely check them out. Because I just kind of ran like head first into the podcast, I didn't give us a chance to talk about what we're drinking, because any good craft beer podcast has to have a drink or two involved. And we actually do drink on this show, unlike, some of these other shows like, I don't know, shift beers. They always kind of like hint that they're drinking, but I don't know if it actually happens. We'll let them explain themselves on that one. But we decided for this show to pick each other a beer, and not something like, oh, pick a beer I think that you're going to hate or that you're going to love or that you think you've never had. We just went, hey, let's just pick each other out a beer. And since Marco is texting, I am going to go with what I have first. Marco picked me Blanc from Sonder, and I'm sad to admit it's been a long time since I've had this one, but man.
It's been a while.
It's been quite a while. But it is so damn good, and I am very glad that you picked this one out for me.
Thank you. There's obviously a couple of reasons why I picked it, right?
Yeah. Ties into a lot of what we're going to be talking about today.
It does.
Yep.
And I am drinking what Julia picked for me, Warsteiner Festbier, the world's oldest brewery, brewed in Bavaria, Germany since 1040.
Is that a real date?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound real, but we'll go with it.
So all of us, I guess all the Cincinnati podcasters are going to head up for the 1000th anniversary.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all
Like
going to go over there, and it's coming up.
18 years from now or whatever.
Yes.
When we're still doing this.
That means we have plenty of time to plan the trip. That's what that means.
Yeah. Yeah. Put a couple of pennies to the side.
Each week. So why don't we go ahead and move into this week's episode of the Cincinnati Brewcast.
Ah, you must drink.
Yes.
You must drink
Yes,
when we
yes.
say Cincinnati
Cheers.
Brewcast. And we do it appropriately at the same time.
Yes, yes.
So we don't-
We make sure that there was an awkward pause
Yes.
in the podcast.
And that
because,
would be
we're
where-
professionals.
Hopefully you are doing the same thing.
Yes, yes.
So-
Yes. So this is, season 8, episode 19. I'm an Oktoberfest nut, and that was live from the Sonder Brewing's Oktoberfest and Friends celebration. I was not up there for the podcast. Had other stuff going on earlier in the day.
Yeah,
but,
neither was I. Thanks for the invite, though.
he did say that he was going to be up there doing it, but he didn't say when. So the blame still falls squarely on Gnome's shoulders. The two guests that were on this show are two voices that we have not heard together in quite some time. So I was very, very excited for it. For a minute there, I kind of forgot what podcast I was listening to. But we had Danny from Sonder Brewing, and then one of the other co-founders of Sonder Brewing. I think he said his name was Sean? James? No, Justin. That's what it was.
Justin.
Such an awesome guy. So happy that I actually got to finally meet him in person
Justin.
at October. I know.
Yes.
I'm trying to.
You're doing a thing.
I'm doing a thing. I'm trying
doing
to
a
mess.
thing.
I'm trying to mess with him from afar.
Doing a thing.
Aren't we all? Let's see. Oktoberfest is apparently Gnome's second favorite season. He kind of alluded to his first favorite beer season.
Seltzer season?
Yes. I mean, well, you're gonna have to. I was gonna say you're gonna have to listen to find out, but Seltzerfest, seltzer season,
Yeah.
Oktoberfest.
He's a seltzer
Oktoberfest.
slut.
He really is. He really is, and that's okay. Let's see. They started this episode on kind of a big piece of news. Sonder Stories is coming back.
The wait is over.
It's still there's no date. Well, we're still waiting.
The wait is over. Sonder Stories is coming back next year.
The wait is over, but you still have to wait. No, but
The wait is over.
the wait is over. The announcement is made, and now we just have to wait for them to roll back out with it. But I do like what they're doing. They want to come back and do it correctly. They have a lot of big things planned.
I don't know if what they were doing before was wrong.
No, and I don't think they were saying that it was either. But because they had kind of taken so long off because of how busy things got and just the timing, like when you say yes to doing one thing, it means you're saying no to doing another thing. So they wanted to make sure that when they were able to say yes to the podcast, they were okay with whatever saying no to worked out. But they have some really cool stuff planned for what they're going to be bringing back. One of the new segments that's going to be a part of the show is Phone in the Gnome.
Yes.
That is going to be
Phone in the Gnome.
beyond incredible. I cannot wait.
Call him right now.
You should. You want? Well, no, I don't want to do that
Okay.
because
All right.
he said that normally people
He's
call
always
him.
he's
making
spaghetting.
dinner. He's spaghetting, making the spaghettis. So,
Making spaghetti.
making spaghetti for his kids. So it is still dinner time. So I am not going to call the gnome right now.
Okay.
I would if it was later in the evening.
Okay.
I am trying to be respectful of his time. Okay, if you want to call him,
He doesn't have to answer.
no, but he will because
He
that's
would.
just the kind of
Yeah, he
person that
would.
he is.
He would.
Yes. Let's see. They also said that there's going to be no more "What are you listening to?" Which I liked the musical aspect of it. It was just that intro.
It's so damn long. I may have said to Justin's face that I made a joke that the intro to What Are You Listening To is as long as Inagata Davida.
And he may have agreed.
He may
have agreed.
he may have mentioned it.
We're just saying. But no, I am so stoked that that's coming back. I have missed hearing just the conversations that they have. And I know that this isn't a Sonder Stories recap because it's not back yet, but it was so great.
Well, but the
to have
wait
the
is
two of
over.
them. The wait is over. We just have to wait for the next episode to appear. Good
So,
God.
Yeah.
Good God. They started off after some of that, after some of the Sonder stories and podcast talk, they talked about Sonder's Oktoberfest and the fact that Sonder no longer needs Justin for anything.
Right.
And that makes him so incredibly proud,
Yes.
which I get. It's nice to be wanted and needed, but it's also nice to just be able to walk in and drink your face off and not have to worry about any responsibilities for the day.
Well, on that day, I totally understand.
Oh, God, yeah.
And of course, the talk is, or the talk was about, Justin wasn't needed to pull off this event from a staffing standpoint, largely from an organizational standpoint, although he was involved in organizational meetings.
Sure.
It's that they're getting to a place with the size of their brewery, with the size of their staff, with the expertise that they have, that Justin he doesn't need to get bogged down in a lot of that other stuff that everybody else can handle.
Right. So when he was going around to, the different kind of teams that were there, hey, what can I help you out with? Nope, we're good. Okay, well, go over to another side of the event, the merch, the bar inside, the beer garden outside. What can I help with? Hey, we're good. We don't need anything. We're set. We're staffed. We're great.
One of my mentors in business, and at the time I was in the restaurant industry. I asked a question, or maybe I didn't ask a question, but the phrase was said, Marco, you're ready to be the GM when I can walk in a white 3-piece suit and I'm not needed. And I was like, okay, well,
All
Justin, you can wear your white 3-piece suit, buddy.
Hell yeah. I mean, does he have white lederhosen? Because that would be
The
pretty
ones
cool.
I saw weren't.
No, and I don't know if those actually, I'm sure they exist somewhere. I've never seen white lederhosen, but I think that would be pretty cool. I do want to break off slightly from recapping the podcast because this part of it was about the Oktoberfest and Friends Fest.
Sure.
This was my first year making it up, which, Justin, Danny, I'm sorry, but I finally made it up, and my God, it was amazing. I had the best time hanging out
fun.
with you, hanging out with Josh, hanging out with Gnome, hanging out with just all kinds of people from all the different breweries that were up there. I poured my first beers from
Hell
a
yeah, you
jockey
did.
box. I didn't do too bad.
No, that was great.
It was great. I ended up stepping in for 2 other places, at their tents. So the place you don't work at, your tent was next to Twin Oaks. And the gentleman from Twin Oaks that was working his booth, we'd been talking for a few minutes, and he goes, hey, do you mind watching stuff here while I walk away for a few minutes? And I'm like, sure, what can go wrong? Well, what can go wrong is people can come up asking about the beer. Luckily by that time, I had both of their offerings, so I was able to do my best to say, hey, we have, I just kind of put myself into sure, this is mine now. We have this and we have this, and this is what this is about, and this is what this is about. They picked their beers. I poured it without, a nice head on the cup. It wasn't overly foamy. Didn't spill any of it. I was so proud. I was so happy.
Great job, Julie.
And then same thing kind of happened up at the Narrow Path Brewery, or at their tent. It was just kind of like hey, can you just kind of keep an eye on this for a minute? Sure as shit. Someone walks up. Hey, what do you have? And it's like, all right, here we go again. And it all worked out.
Yeah.
But man, I had the best time just talking to everyone, seeing everyone, talking to some of the people from the Cincinnati craft beer scene that we have been talking about for over a year, that just due to timing, I've never actually gotten to introduce myself to in person, like Justin, like Chad from Narrow Path, and finally making those actual connections. And it was so cool. I had such an amazing time up there.
That's awesome.
It was
I'm glad.
great. It was great.
I had a great time too.
Good. Very glad to hear that. All right, let's get back to the actual podcast. After they talked about the Oktoberfest up at Sonder, they decided to move into talking about Oktoberfest beers as a style. This is where you can hear the story of Chase Unchained and the absolute kind of craziness involved in that. So if you think that Chase is kind of a laid-back, easygoing kind of, I like to do things my way, kind of guy, hold on to your butts.
That's right.
Chase Unchained, that might have to be another segment for the new Sonder stories.
That's a great idea.
What happened this week with Chase?
Chase Unchained.
Yes. So Justin, Danny, write that down. You can send your royalties our way when
that's right.
all that's happening.
Make it a 60-40 split our way. It's all good.
Exactly. It'll be perfect.
COB tomorrow. Thank you.
A huge chunk of the conversation about Oktoberfest beer as a style wasn't actually about Oktoberfest beers at all. They kind of went down a whole bunch of rabbit holes. They went down some paths that I didn't expect from a show that was supposed to be about Oktoberfest and Oktoberfest beers, but it was still fun. Gnome finally admitted that West Side is the best side. I was beyond thrilled, and holy shit, the Sausage Queen made an appearance.
Yes.
That I have never laughed so hard during a well, no, there are some podcasts that I probably have laughed just as hard, but my God, she is amazing. Absolutely amazing. She can be a guest on anyone's show anytime.
She come on our show.
Hell yeah. So Rachel, I know that you're a big fan of Truth Beer and Podsequences, so reach out to us at Truth Beer Pod on social media or truthbeerpod@gmail.com. But my God, she came in at an 11.
Yeah, that's right.
She was beyond fired up already, and it was amazing.
You see some of those kids sometimes. You're like, man, I wish I had half that energy. Rachel's like, God damn, I wish I had
like
half
5 of
her
those
energy.
kids. Right.
Good God.
I don't know how she does it, but my God.
Yeah.
So cool. So cool.
Absolutely.
But yeah, they really didn't talk about Oktoberfest beer very much. But we did get some, more breaking news from Sonder and, the Gnome and Cincy Brewcast. Sonder is going to have a year-round lager. And what they're doing to pick that lager is really interesting. I really like this idea. I believe starting now they have test lager 1 on tap.
Yeah.
And then they said within the next 2 weeks they'll have test lager 2 on tap.
Test lager 1 debuted at Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest, right. Which I wish I would have gone into the brewery so I could have tried it, but it was so busy in there that I just stuck to the outside.
Busy.
Yeah. But within the next few weeks, you will be able to, when you go to Sonder, try both of the lagers and then vote for your favorite. And that one will be the newest year-round lager. Now, they didn't say if this was going to be in cans, actually distributed in in packaging, or if it's just going to be at Sonder. If it's year-round, my thought is it'll probably. I would like for it to hit cans, right?
They were alluding to and didn't exactly say this.
Right. So this is our truth.
So hold on. This is the reckless speculation part of the podcast.
Yes. Our favorite part.
Yeah.
Or we just...
Can I get an intro?
Okay.
For the reckless speculation part?
In a world where Marco has a reckless speculation about Sonder Brewing, he will tell you what Sonder Brewing is going to do, and it may or may not be factual.
So what they're going to do is they're going to pull Blanc out of packaging. They're still going to have Blanc. Blanc will be available in tap room. They're going to have year-round lager replacing Blanc out in distribution. And you are voting on Lager 1, which is a Pilsner. Then you're going to vote on Lager 2, which is more like a light American lager in the vein of low-carb, low-calorie. And so that is my truth.
This has been Marco's Reckless... I got distracted by the dogs.
You okay?
No, I am not okay. We've already covered this.
How about this?
That's the wrong.
Oh, that's the one-on-one.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
clicked that one.
Yeah, you see.
I thought that was I like bananas.
No, that's this one.
You put that to some music there. That's what I get for touching the board.
Marco's reckless speculations have been spoken into the universe.
There you go.
Which means that's probably what's going to happen.
I think that's the first time I ever touched the board.
I think so too. You've like pointed at it before, but I don't think you've ever actually touched it.
I don't think I've actually plugged anything in either.
No, I don't think you. You always just hand me the cords and you're like, here you go.
Yeah.
My
I won't
God,
touch it again, I promise.
Do I have to do everything for this show? Come on, man.
I mean, honestly.
Don't answer that. Don't answer that one.
You don't.
No. Beth, help me.
Help
me.
Beth.
They did mention that there is a good chance that eventually both lagers will just kind of circulate through. So every now and then, whichever lager wasn't voted in as a fan favorite might show up on tap. But that's pretty exciting. That's pretty exciting news. I really like it. Other exciting news, Gnome finally admitted his favorite Oktoberfest beer of all time. He always tries to reserve that.
Right.
But this episode...
This is the worst.
You got it. It really was the worst. The worst choice he could have made.
Way to go, Gnome.
He really screwed the pooch on that one.
Yeah.
And I'm only saying that because there are a bunch of dogs in here.
Very good.
Yeah, you see what I did there? I used the environment and I pulled a terrible, terrible joke out of it. I don't know what I'm doing today.
It's all good. Someone's trapped in the cooler.
Oh, no. Have you ever been trapped in a cooler, Marco? All right. So, yes.
It almost looked like that, like, what is it, a 30 or a 40-year-old graphic where you have the three people from the Superman movie that were trapped in that crystal, in the outer space.
That's exactly what that looked like there for
That's what it looked
for a hot minute. All right, so in addition to
she had
Gnome,
to get her White Claw.
She did. Well, don't we all?
Yeah.
She better put a blocks or two in it.
That's right.
That's all I'm saying. Kind of bump that shit up to 11.
That's right.
So yeah, Gnome admitting to his favorite Oktoberfest beer, which we both think was the worst decision he could have made.
Terrible.
But, and this is the last note that I have about this episode. So,
mine too.
Okay. Even though he already said his all-time favorite, he has not announced this year's favorite Oktoberfest beer.
Correct.
And as we mentioned in our little 0.5 calendar episode, this 2 Mondays from now, I believe that is, so October 10th, at Fretboard Brewing up here in Blue Ash. I believe the time is about 7 p.m., I think they posted.
Probably.
He will be on stage live with a couple friends. Don't know who yet. Hopefully it's you, Marco, because you're the best. And he will be running through the Oktoberfest Quest finale, where he will be announcing this year's pick of his personal.
The finale.
The finally.
For as long as he's been doing this.
It's been months, hasn't it?
The finally.
Months. The finally. The finale. The finally. Oktoberfest Quest winner for 2022. And apparently, there's going to be a trophy. There is going to be an award. And it is going to be
Yes.
a major award.
It's going to be a major award.
Because apparently all the pieces arrived. So, I mean...
I know another podcast that had an award
Yeah,
when they
that
were
didn't
doing
go
a
so well, did
Fretboard
it?
Live event.
That didn't go so well for him. So I'm really hoping that that the award for the Cincinnati Brewcast. Fuck it, let's do it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And we drink, and Julia drink, and then I drink.
And then we just never...
Well, we both drink. Let's go.
Okay. So damn good. How is that Festbier? I don't know if I asked you, so
good.
I apologize. Good. Not the best, not the worst.
It's definitely not the
You
worst.
have got to listen to this episode.
Definitely not the worst.
It is so freaking amazing.
But it's very good.
Good.
But what I will say is that you can find locally, depending on what brewery you go to, a beer that's as good or better.
That's fair.
In my opinion.
Hey, and that's a very valid opinion.
Thank
you for sharing. Yeah. So definitely check out this episode of Cincy Brewcast. It was a hell of a lot of fun. It is so great to get Justin and Danny back kind of together on a podcast, whether it's their own or Cincy Brewcast.
So great to hear them.
Listen to the Sausage Queen.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Sausage Queen.
Wearing a chicken hat. Doesn't rhyme, but you know what? I'm going to throw it in there.
Okay.
So good. Support the gnome and all he's doing. Come see his live show, the live podcast up at Fretboard, October 10th. TheGnarlyGnome.com. He has a Patreon page. Whatever you can do to support him and everything he does.
An Oktoberfest YouTube video.
He did. Check out his YouTube page, youtube.com/TheGnarlyGnome. And, yeah, get excited for next year's Oktoberfest because this year's is winding down rapidly.
Yeah, it is.
It is, but we still have one more podcast to talk about where all they talked about
was
Oktoberfest beer. So do we want to take a quick break, kind of get some refills on our beers, and then come back to shift beers? All right, Marco, do you want to push the button for the break this time? No.
I'm never pushing a button again. If it ever has to be where Julie's not running the board.
You guys aren't getting an episode.
You will. It's just...
Someone else will
just beware.
I trust you, Marco.
Coco
All right, guys.
Beware.
We'll be right
Remember
back.
Coco Beware?
All right, guys. We made it back, and I will apologize in advance.
Apologize.
Marco has tequila, so if he starts singing, you all know why. I couldn't prevent him from getting it. I wanted him to enjoy himself tonight.
I've sung without tequila.
This is very true.
In the history of this show, I've sung without tequila.
But you sing more with tequila. That's all that I'm trying to point out.
That's true.
Yes, there were like 25 minutes of just random crooning into the mic that I had to cut out of. I think it was like a bonus episode we did.
I was doing Michael Bublé. Michael Bublé there.
There was a whole lot of Michael Bublé going on. Yeah. It was amazing. But
I noticed you cut it out too, by the
way. I didn't know.
I was sitting there listening. I was like, here it did not happen.
And it's not there. I mean, I still have.
It's not. I don't need it.
I still have the raw audio file.
Yeah, it's not an audition tape or anything.
Well, now that we are back, I want to give a huge shout out to producer Adam, who is providing us. Well, I say providing. He is pouring. He's producing. He's producing us
producing
the amazing beverages that we're
producer
drinking.
Adam, and also our joys and well wishes are to producer Annie.
Yes.
Hopefully, at any moment, she brings her long-expected new baby into the world.
Yes, I know. When I saw that she wasn't here today, I'm like, oh, is it happening? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, damn it.
Yeah.
Annie wants that baby here. Out in the outside world, not in the inside world anymore.
Right.
So, but yeah, Adam got you, as I already kind of exposed, some tequila.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you get that?
It's great. Terramana, Reposado. Mm-hmm. It's something that, as far as tequila goes, it's really tasty, very good. I like the Reposado.
Much as the Casa Azul or not?
No.
That is so
no,
good.
It's so good.
Oh, my God.
I still haven't cracked my bottle of Clase Azul open yet.
You need the right moment.
That's correct.
It's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
But, yeah, I do like it if it's something that you do on occasion or every now and then. That's a fine, price point in tequila. So.
Sounds good.
I think I want to start, as we come back and rejoin, I want to start with a true story from the place that I don't work at.
Ooh, yes. Let's do this. I'm excited.
All right.
Here we go. Set the stage.
All right. We're going to do a true story from the place that Marco doesn't work at. Should I get an intro?
True story from the place that Marco doesn't work at?
I love bananas.
Okay, so I was at work. I was at the place I don't work at.
So you're at work. You can
Yesterday.
just leave it as that.
I was at and I had a bartender coming into work, and everyone comes in the back door.
That's
and
what
so
you said.
yeah,
Sorry.
that's right.
Sorry.
Hey now. And so he walked in, and I saw him. So I walked up to him. I said, "Hey, by the way," and I did a point, like I stood in front of him, and then I pointed with my thumb, like, this person at the bar. And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "So this person at the bar," and he goes, "Is that the gnarly gnome?" I'm like, no. I said, "This person at the bar," he goes, "It's not the gnarly gnome?" I'm like, "No, it's not the gnarly gnome." And I go, "This person at the bar in the black shirt,
That's not the gnarly gnome.
it's not the gnarly gnome." This person at the bar in the black shirt, I started a tab, but I put guy in black shirt. I didn't take his card because he ordered 4 shots while he was eating pizza. So his hands were full of pizza. So I didn't want to stop and ask him for his card. And he goes, "Okay, so but the gnarly gnome's here, right?" And I was like,
Why?
"No, the gnarly gnome's not here."
Why? I have so many
and I
questions
said-
already.
I said, "The gnarly gnome's not here." He goes, "Well, there's a car out back with the gnarly gnome hat in it."
Oh no!
I
And
said-
you're like,
I said, "Well, that's my
car?
"Oh, that's your car?" I'm like, "Yeah."
oh my god, that's
He's like,
amazing.
"Oh, so you have a gnarly gnome hat?" I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a gnarly gnome." I said, "I was wearing the gnarly gnome hat yesterday when I was with him, sitting next to him at the Zane Lamprey show at Fretboard." He goes,
Oh my god.
"Oh, I thought the gnarly gnome was here. I've never seen him." And I was like,
Exactly.
You haven't seen him?"
He probably does. He
no.
not watch the YouTube channel? Come
I don't
on.
know. He's like,
Come on.
I
Fire him. Just be like, hey, you either need to start watching.
I go to his webpage. I follow him on Facebook and all this.
Yeah.
He's like, "No, he's not here. Everything's fine."
That's amazing. Speaking of hats, I got my gnarly gnome toboggan, my beanie.
Oh, yeah?
In the mail yesterday. I love it. It's awesome. It's so great.
Nice.
I love the weather right now. Like, this is perfect, but I'm excited for it to get a little bit colder so I can actually start wearing it and not overheat.
So all these
and just
fruit flies can die.
That too.
The death they deserve.
That too. Luckily, none have landed in my beer yet, but they've gotten close.
God,
They've gotten very close.
they're pretty ferocious at the place.
I'm
that
telling you.
I
Oh,
don't
speaking
work
of, I don't think I mentioned
Oh yeah,
the
what
new
are you
beer that
drinking?
I had. Yeah, so I am drinking from Wolf's Ridge their double Daybreak, their double coffee cream ale, and it is. If you like their coffee cream ale, normal Daybreak, well, not called normal Daybreak, just called Daybreak. Again, I don't know what I'm doing tonight because
Normal
God knows
Daybreak.
why. This is so elevated, and there is so much coffee, so much of that. This is amazing.
They kicked it up to 11.
They turned it up to 11. This is absolutely delicious. So if you see it out there anywhere, definitely get you some.
Get you some.
If coffee cream ales are your thing. If they're not, then don't, because this will not change your mind about that style at all.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about next, Julia?
Shipped beers.
Of course.
We are going to talk about Shipped Beers, episode 99.
One
episode away.
99. They have 99 problems.
But a podcast ain't one.
No.
No. This one was called Oktoberfests and Capri Sun, so I will give you 2 guesses on what this episode is about.
It's going to be about Oktoberfest beers and Capri Suns.
Nicely done.
Hell yeah.
Got him. This was another episode where the entire team was there. I guess they were in Chris's garage, at his garage bar. So
Yeah.
Casa de Chris, or like, is it just called Chris's bar? Chris, let us know what your garage bar is called, even if it's just like a bunch of lawn chairs around a
And
shitty, shaky
give us that
table.
address, buddy.
Yeah, we were not invited. Don't know why, but it seems like a lot of drinkery is happening at your place, and
We'll show up at Chris's garage.
yeah, we'll absolutely show up there, and then we will Uber home, and our cars will be parked in front of Chris's house for like 3 weeks.
Right.
Not that that's ever happened with anyone before,
Right.
but hey, you never know.
You never know.
Oh, we haven't had that yet tonight. That's awesome. Canadians apparently love shift beers a lot.
Yes.
They played a drunk call.
Oh.
I have to say I miss listening to the Canadians.
I do too.
Hopefully everyone is doing as well as they can be. But yeah, we got a call. We got nothing. Shift Beers got a call on their drunk line.
They did.
From the Canadians.
Well, we don't have a drunk line.
Yet. Maybe.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Yet. Maybe.
Maybe. There may be some things in the pipeline that we're still trying to figure out, which we've been trying to figure out for a long time, but...
And by figure out, we have it on a list.
Yes.
It's not actively checking off or working towards bucket list.
I feel like we're getting a little bit closer in being able to really work on some of this stuff now that you don't have 37 different jobs.
Yeah.
And once everything settles down in your current new job, which I am still so beyond thrilled about.
Thank you.
Like, I know that I keep saying that, but I'm just beyond excited for you.
It's exciting.
I feel like once you kind of get into the routine of that, once you have a little more time availability for us to discuss some of these things more, we definitely want to do some fun stuff. Maybe some exclusive content on an exclusive content site that is not OnlyFans. Don't at me. I will not give you pictures of Marco's feet. I swear to God. But
God, do you know how many requests I get though?
I mean, you go ahead and do your own thing, but I'm saying for the podcast. Anyway, I am digressing. We are getting away from shift beers. Drinking.
Yeah.
It was 20 minutes long.
Okay.
It went from 4:10 to 24:33.
Very good.
I know that they give us shit for giving them shit about the length of drinking, but as we've said a million times,
Good stories.
great stories. Absolutely fantastic.
Really good.
But when it's more than half of the length of the majority of what your episode's supposed to be about, you deserve a little bit of good-natured ripping about it.
I agree.
So that's what we're going to do.
That's how we do it.
That's what friends do.
That's
They
what we've
give you
been doing.
shit. And that's what
right.
we will continue doing. During this episode of Drinking, see, I already did it. It needs to be its own show. During this Drinking segment of this episode, there we go, Josh talks a bit about a sessionable liquor. That may or may not have been his twisted tea tip for this episode. He didn't call it a twisted tea tip, but he let you know if you want a liquor that you can just session all day long, good or bad of an idea as that may be, he lets you know what to put in your flask and what to keep with you
Right.
all day long. It's pretty cool. I've never had it before. Have you ever had it before? I don't want to
No.
give it away. You need to listen to the episode to see what this is.
No, but on the same note, as the weather starts to change, as it is, and as we start to get into, you get Halloween, you get Thanksgiving, Christmas, so Halloween, and you get into the holiday season. The Gnarly Gnome puts a bottle of peppermint schnapps from
That's
Cincinnati
true.
Distilling on his counter,
That's
and
true.
it's ready at a moment's notice. It's ready.
Basically, he brings it with him wherever he goes in some
Everywhere.
sort of
It is in a
container.
flask.
Right.
It's in a container.
So
it's in
if
a
you-
flask somewhere.
So if you ever run into him during the holiday winter months, just ask, hey, can I get a shot of that schnapps? And
That's
he
right.
will probably pull the flask out
Yes.
of some pocket of his Adventure or Pleplius. Is that what the
Pleplius.
brand's now
Yep.
called?
Yep, it is. Pleplius.
Jacket or coat, and yeah.
His prison pocket.
His Oh my God. Oh, they're images now, and I don't need images. Oh my God, why do you do this to me?
With a
Wow.
smile and a thumbs up.
Oh, the thought. God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. I
It's
don't
like
know
a
if
York patty.
Oh no. Yeah, but for the gnome, the white's on the outside. Anyway.
Hey-o.
Hey, yeah. We'll see if that stays in.
Sure it is.
Oh my God.
What other
Good.
notes do you have there, Julia? Because
Chris's
they
bir-
match mine.
Chris's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
He got a special cameo
Oh, it was
from the other
great.
members. Oh my God, it was so incredibly awesome.
It was awesome.
You could hear the smile like,
Yes, you
through the
could.
mics.
Yes, you could.
and we are being 100% serious and sincere about this. That was so amazing.
That was great.
Of Beth, Josh, and Beth to think of and to pull together and to make happen. I'm It was so freaking cool.
It was so cool, and one of my friends was telling me a story, I don't know, a month or two back about. He's like, man, I was just spending money on stupid shit, and I was like, what stupid shit? And he's like, well, I was sending some of my friends funny cameos, and he said he got the lead singer of the Spin Doctors to send one of his friends a cameo, and then at the end he did the whole scat,
oh
whatever,
my God,
like,
that's
thing.
so awesome.
I was like, that's fucking hilarious.
Oh my
actually.
God.
He's like, yeah, I did.
Hey, and I don't know if it'll ever happen, but you and I have talked about a cameo for Shift Beers if it's ever available. I would love for it to happen one day. Don't want to spoil it in case we can make it happen for Shift Beers. But man, the entire message, that was a lot longer of a cameo message than I thought. It was a good
message.
Amount of time. It was a great message.
I don't know what they paid, but that certainly was
whatever it was,
a
it was
healthy
worth
message.
It. Yes, and even being kind of like on the outside looking in, whatever, like even I was listening going, my God, whatever they paid for this, 100% worth it. Like Chris just did the rest of the episode, he could not get over it, and rightfully so. I mean,
it was good.
When you have you have your idol calling you big baby, how does life get any better than that? I mean, really, it does
so
not
good.
get any better. It
was
than
so
that.
good,
so good. So I mean, listen to just the first 24 minutes of the episode just for that.
Yeah. And you'll count as a click, too, by the way, if you listen that far in.
True that. Let's see. After they got out of the drinking segment, we learned, Beth has all the power, but we knew that. We knew that she is the glue that holds that show together. Without her, even when she's not present on an episode, she has the pull. Like her gravitational prowess keeps that group and this podcast so solidly connected day in and day out that I feel like them just saying Beth has the power, it's not necessary. We all know it, but I'm very glad that they acknowledged it.
I got sidetracked there because we talking about Beth having the power, and of course my mind.
He-Man holding up the sword.
Well, two images. Power. Yes, it's He-Man. I have the power.
Yes,
and then it is the power from Snap back in 2003. I got the power.
I got the power. Yeah, that one. I know. Yeah. Like I know that I know this one. It's just
and
not coming.
And the place that I don't work at anymore as my full-time job. Mm-hmm. We did a promotion where it was called a power package, where you had a living room set, 2 end tables, 2 lamps, and then you had a TV.
Please tell me that when someone bought that, you played over the entire PA system, like that 5 seconds.
The fucking PA system. Every third song was motherfucking I Got the Power. And then we all had T-shirts. We all had T-shirts like
they said I got
like they were like.
Dude, can you give me one of those?
Like you need a digging permit for, I don't know, it was like it was terrible.
Call before you dig.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And it's like, why are you wearing this? This is a furniture store.
I got the power like over and over and over again.
Oh
Shit.
my God, hold on, I got a button for that one.
Shit.
Look at that. It's perfect. It's perfect.
It sounded
sounds
like
just
me.
Like you. Oh my God.
Yeah, but Beth, you got the power.
Then there were, as always, some random tangents. They talked about knuckle cracking and who on Shift Beers has the most knuckles. Can you crack your knuckles just whenever you want to, or?
It's like occasional. Let's see.
Nice. But so I even asked my hand doctor about this. I'm like, should I be able to do this? I know, I stupid human
because
trick.
You're a hand model as well, right? In a former life.
It had to have been a former life. So I don't know if this will pick up.
On the side. Holy shit.
Like I can just do that until the end of time. I'm just
Julie's just squeezing.
Yeah, and I can just like I have to flex my hands right to make it happen. But I asked my hand doctor when I was having, some symptoms of carpal tunnel. I'm like, should I be able to do this? And he was like, oh yeah, you can crack your knuckles when gases build up in the joints. And I'm like, well no, but like constantly like this. And he goes, I don't know how you're doing that, but you probably shouldn't do it a lot. And I'm like, nah, I just kind of do it to freak people out because it's weird. And he's like, yeah, I can see that.
Julie's
I just...
doing the, she's just doing the, like...
If you guys ever see me anywhere,
milking a cow,
ask me about my...
like,
ask me about my stupid human trick, and I'll crack my knuckles for 5 minutes for you. I don't know. That's all I've got. I have no special talents other than
Can you do that to rhythm? Like, can you belt out like Billie Jean on your knuckles?
Oh my god, I've never tried it. Like that's the thing though. There's not like
Free bird.
different. There aren't different like tones to each of my knuckles when they crack. It's just all like the same thing. So, but yeah, I'm gonna say.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm gonna
Dun,
say.
dun, dun.
Okay, so who from Shift Beers would you say has the most knuckles? If you had to pick someone, and it can be an extravagant amount of knuckles. Like there are no qualifiers to this at all. Just random question: who on Shift Beers has the most knuckles? Who pops into your head first?
I don't know. It's such a weird question. I mean, everyone's got 5
You listen to
fingers.
the episode.
As far as
not
I know,
weird.
everyone's got 5 fingers, 5 toes. Some have 2 of one thing and 1 of another in some cases.
Love you, Chris.
But I think if you add them all up and you add Brian's moose knuckle, he's probably got 1 more.
Oh my God, Brian was the first one that popped into my head, but I didn't have that extra kind of addition that you added to it. So, holy hell, good job, good job. You're not even like
I'm ashamed
halfway.
of myself.
No, you're not even like halfway into your tequila yet. So this is all you. No excuses.
Yeah, it
This
is.
just all you. Producer Nori stepped in for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And we got a whole bunch of
I love bananas.
over and over. It was amazing. She actually brought the show back on track. Things were going a little squirrely before then, as you know from where we just went off track talking
Right.
about it. So I'm glad they have producer Nori to step in. Producer Evie stepped in for a couple minutes as well to show off her sword, which we talked about, I don't know how many episodes ago, but she
Right.
brought her sword out. It's freaking awesome. And she gave a quick corn shout out,
Yeah.
which was awesome. So it was always good to hear from the Shift Beers producers as they're doing their thing. And let's see, they wrapped up the episode with Josh making it weird.
Yeah. He did.
Yeah, he
little
made it
weird.
really awkward. He even left 6 whole minutes of that awkwardness in at the end of the episode.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I noticed that as well.
I kept waiting, like, is this going to get any better? Is this
I
going to get any
did.
better?
I did as well.
And it did not get any better.
No, it didn't.
No.
Julie, is it easy to do that without knowing so, or is it pretty much something that you know you're doing?
It's...
From an editing
from an
production
editing thing.
standpoint.
Well, that's the thing. When you edit, it's the recording. Like, yes, I could add extra time to the end of our episode, but that would be a very intentional manual process. And based off of previous conversations that I've had with Josh about editing, because we use the same board, like, I don't want to say he had to try for it, but it must have been all the sliders are down, and then they just walked away without knowing that the weirdness was still happening
and then
for 6 minutes
probably
and
the
20
record button
seconds.
was still pushed until they unplugged it from a power source.
Yes, that is my guess. But yeah, those last 6 minutes and 20 seconds, it actually, now that we're talking,
6 minutes of Zen.
now that we're talking about it, that could have been the best 6 minutes of the show.
Could have been.
It could have been. I might have to listen again just to kind of solidify my thoughts on that. But
It's a good idea.
very well could have been the very
And if you
best.
fast forward till that 6 minutes, you count as another click.
Absolutely.
Boom.
We are helping them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Check it out. If not just for the last 6 minutes.
It was such a fun episode, man. They always have such a good time. And I think this episode, more so than just kind of some of the other recent episodes, mostly because of the cameo that they played, really just shows off their friendship, which is what
Yeah.
I love most about shipped beers. Is
Absolutely.
just listening to the friendship that they have. So check it out, episode 99. Apparently, they have big things planned for episode 100, which will be next week, unless they need to take a week off, depending on the antics that need to
already
take
in the
place
can.
for it. Is it already in the can?
Sorry.
Nice. Well, then there's no excuse for them to not release it next week.
I may or may not have overheard
Nice.
a story about something that happened afterward.
All right. Well, I am not pressing you for those details because I want to know what happens on the episode.
I mean,
as it's
we're all
released,
gonna
just
be-
like
we're all
everyone
gonna be
else. It's going to be
surprised.
great. It is going to be fantastic. We only have the burp count left
Oh,
to
let's
talk
go.
about. So do you want to intro that at all, or are we just going to run into it? Because I know that we've been told by them specifically, you don't need to talk about it. We talk about it.
They do
So
talk about it.
They do talk about it.
But
It's
no,
awesome.
we should intro the burp counts.
At least a little bit. At least something.
Some sort of something.
Ooh, how about...
I love bananas.
And now Julie's about to give you the burp count.
All right, in this episode of Shift Beers, episode 99, Oktoberfest and Capri Suns. Guess where those Capri Suns fit into this episode? They had a grand total of 56 burps, which equals 112 ounces of your favorite beverage, which equates down to 7 pints.
Okay.
So,
All right.
not bad.
No,
you're,
not
you're
bad.
absolutely
Not
having
bad.
a good time no
It was,
matter
it was what,
you-
about an hour and 5 minutes?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, depends on if you're adding the last 6 minutes or not.
okay.
It depends on how much they're trying to pad their podcast length, because you got to pad the length,
Ah, the length.
make it seem longer than it actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, length.
It's fine. It's how you use it. I don't think they use this one for good, but
No, it was
Just my
it was just silent. It was just there.
best part of the episode.
A little
That's all I'm gonna say.
What happened?
I don't know. You drank tequila. That's what happened.
Oh.
Thank you guys so much, as always, for listening to Truth, Beer, and Podsequences. If there's a Cincinnati Craft Beer podcast that you know about that we don't know about, let us know. It may be one that just kind of falls in and out of our rotation as they release episodes. Again, like we mentioned, Beers and Beards and the Jungle Gyms International podcast. Maybe it's a podcast we don't know that occasionally talks about Cincinnati Craft Beer. We would love to know about it. We would love to talk about them. We are at Truth Beer Pod on all of your favorite social media platforms. We are at truthbeerpod.com. There's actually a big blue buy us a pint, support us link if you would like to throw a couple bucks our way. We would love you for that. You can email us anything you want, truthbeerpod@gmail.com. If you have any complaints about the show, do what Craft Parenting Podcast tells you to do and send them to @RagingHop on Twitter. Other than that, Marco, what are you going to be doing next Tuesday?
So I'm going to be here with you and recapping all the Cincinnati-based craft beer podcasts.
Hell yeah, can't wait to do it, man.
Can't wait. Cheers.
Cheers.